Are we live?
We're live.
Oh my goodness, okay.
We're
Hi
on.
everybody. Welcome back. It's
Happy
June.
Wednesday.
June Wednesday.
Is this our first June Wednesday?
Yes.
Wow.
Because we were going to Florida on the 1st last week.
Oh, so
for
it's
that
the 31st.
conference.
Yes.
Yeah. So happy June. Is it still spring or is it summer now?
It's still officially
Depends on
spring.
where you live.
It does. Well, the calendar says it's still spring
True.
until June 21st.
All right. We got a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to have the first day of summer on a Wednesday then. So I'm going to get excited about that.
Well, we're doing an ice cream party today.
We're going to do a little preview. So welcome to the ice cream party.
Yes, welcome to the ice cream party. But I think that we're going to have lots more options because today we kind of...
We're not going to lie, we're piecing this a bit together.
Because I went to the store right before we went on
Yes.
to get a fun ice cream maker. So our little bowl is not totally frozen yet, but we're using frozen things in it.
Yes.
So
the reason we're doing an ice cream party, we have a very specific reason for this.
we do.
Stephanie is going to talk to us about Globus sensation, which is what it feels like when something gets stuck in your throat, right? And it may or may not be there. She's shaking her head.
No, it's
No.
not what it feels like when
Totally
something
wrong.
gets stuck in your throat.
Okay.
It's when you have a feeling
Okay.
that something is stuck in your
Okay.
throat,
Yeah.
but there really isn't.
But there isn't anything there.
Right.
Okay.
There could be a number of reasons, or there could be no reason.
Okay.
But we're going to talk about that no reason thing.
Yep. So I'm going to grab some stuff out of the freezer.
Okay.
And I'm going to get our first ice cream recipe going in the food processor. And we're going to just talk a little bit about hot and cold and
I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay. That's okay.
I did it different, and
We're figuring
I
things
kind of
out.
messed it up. Yeah,
That's okay.
it's
Hey.
June.
Hey.
It's okay. It's June. So let's talk a little bit about when you have that sensation that something is like you have a lump in your throat. Have you ever heard that before, or have you ever had that before? Like it feels like something's stuck, and then you go through all of these X-rays and
Hi, Kara.
pressure.
Everyone else, please say hi.
Hello.
Sorry, I totally cut you off.
It's fine. I'm used to it.
I'm so bad about it. I'm sorry. I need to get better.
It's okay. You're the talker. I'm not usually the talker. Just because that's the way it goes.
So,
You're better at it than me.
I don't know about that.
Okay. So
you were saying,
Globus sensation, the feeling that something's stuck but truly nothing is, and it's bothersome, but it's not dangerous. And that is why doctors will send you home and say nothing's wrong. Because in their eyes, there is not a medical emergency. Nothing is stuck.
right.
Now, there could be that there's some inflammation and there's what I call the imprint sensation. That's a little different than Globus sensation. So if you have inflammation and you're having some sensory things go on because of that inflammation, that I call that sensory imprint.
Yeah.
Kind of like when you swallow a pill and you have all of this inflammation, which is the reason you're swallowing a pill, and you just feel it go all the way down,
Yep.
and then it feels like it's stuck.
I like to think of it as like one of those Tempur-Pedic or foam that you put your handprint in and your handprint stays in it.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
exactly.
that's kind of what my mind thinks when you say imprint
Yeah.
of like that.
That's exactly what it is. Or those old fun things that you put your hand in, and it was all the pins.
Yep.
And it would just stay. That's kind of what the sensory imprint. Oh,
It's cold. Okay, so we have some frozen peaches. I apologize. This is going to get really loud. So FYI, if your ears hurt, turn your volume down while we're
Or
blending.
do you want me to take it to a different room and you can blend it in a different room?
Maybe. That might not be.
I don't know how long, because it may take a while
It may take a while.
frozen things.
Yeah.
Let's take it to another
Okay.
room.
So
Hold for a moment and we'll talk about.
I'll tell them what I'm doing here. Okay, so I have about a cup of frozen peaches. We're gonna take a cup of unsweetened coconut milk. We're gonna take some vanilla flavored protein powder. We have some vanilla extract, and then we're gonna use a touch of just a liquid sweetener. This is maple syrup that Stephanie's friend gave her. So it's a little bit runnier than normal maple syrup because it came out of a tree recently.
In March.
In March, yes. So I'm just gonna measure out some of this coconut milk so I know how much, and we might use it in something else we make if we have any left over. Thank you. Okay. So tell us more about Globus, Stephanie.
Yeah,
sorry. Yeah, I was gonna start
so
something.
Fascinated by this.
I was gonna start something else, but I don't want to get ahead of us.
Yeah. Okay. So Globus sensation, something. It feels like you have a lump in your throat, something stuck. Usually they'll send you home and say there's nothing there, you're fine. It's not a medical emergency. But one of the things that bothers me about that is that there is something wrong. There's something wrong with your sensory integration, your sensory system, that you have this feeling of something stuck or something in your throat. Mm-hmm. And that's not, it may make you anxious and not your doctor anxious, but we still need to address it. I'd still like to address it. So as a sensory therapist, I like to address things. So that's what we're doing today, is stimulating the sensory system. So one of the reasons,
that brain.
Yeah, it is. It's all about the brain.
That brain.
I love the brain.
Yeah.
Love your brain.
Love your brain. I love your brain.
Yeah, good job.
Thanks.
So very important that we use sensory things to stimulate the sensory mechanism. So what's happening is that your brain interprets all sensory information. Your brain interprets everything, but particularly the sensory system is regulated by the brain. So if you're sensing something there and nothing's there, there's some kind of disconnect in your brain's interpretation of that information.
Yep.
So one of the things that I like to do is just really challenge that sensory interpretation. So that's why we are doing cold and we are doing warm.
Ooh.
So yes.
Tell us more.
Yes. So I like to take alternating temperatures and just really force the brain to have to interpret the very distinct differences in very, very cold and very warm. Not very, very warm, because I don't want you to hurt yourself. But so you could use tea, you could use coffee, you could use any kind of warm hot chocolate. But I like something that's a little bit thicker than just a liquid, because
it would help if I took I'll be back.
I put it in,
Okay.
in the boys' room.
Okay.
I like to, what I'm going to do today is something very, very simple. This is a can of cream of chicken soup. Now, I know that there are chunks in cream of chicken soup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to blend the soup first to make it smooth. I just made a really big mess. I want to get those chunks of chicken not so chunky. And then I'm going to heat it up. Because, as we have discussed in the past, is it not working? Do you need help? Pardon me just a second. Oh, no, she got it. She got it. Okay. So let's see how this blends without, it's just room temperature. I like it thick because I like the warmth to kind of hug the swallowing, the walls of the swallowing mechanism, so it stays warm for a little bit. Yeah, it doesn't like this super thick stuff.
It's too thick. Do we need to add some water?
Yep.
Okay. It is really loud. It was a good idea to put it in the other room. You guys can probably still hear it because the dog opened the door.
It's his room, you know.
It is his room. I know. All right.
Okay.
Good to know. A little too thick. You know what? I do that with my blend jet more often than I would like. Yeah. Actually, I'm going to see if we can. Okay, I'm going to go check on it. I'll be back.
So we're making ice cream with that, by the way. It's a peach cream, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Peach frozen cream. I am making the thicker soup for the warm. We're going to alternate warm and cold and really challenge the brain in its interpretation. So we know that they're supposed to be cold. We know that they're supposed to be warm. And I just did too much.
Yeah, I do that all the time with mine. Shall I grab mine and we'll see if we can. I do that way more often than I care to. Keep it charged no matter what I do. Kara, you should contact BlendJet and see what they can do, because that shouldn't be happening. Sounds exactly what I call a spasm. It usually feels like something's stuck. Then I feel moving up, eventually goes away. Yeah, trying some of the sensory may help with that. I was gonna see if I could do a poll on there, but I'll have to figure that out another time also. Okay, I'm gonna go stir this. So I put it in the Ninja on the puree for 2 rounds. So anytime you're doing something frozen, you may need to do it multiple times or for like 5 minutes, because frozen stuff takes a long time. So I'm gonna go stir it.
This is working. I just had to shake it up to get that water. I should have put the water first. Checking it moves up my esophagus. Good. You should try it. It can't hurt. Unless you have pain with swallowing. Yeah, Kara, this BlendJet has been charged for 3 weeks now. I only use it occasionally, so it should hold a charge better than that. So please contact them. So I did 3 blends on this. Perfect. So I am going to, very smooth, very smooth.
Beautiful.
So now what I'm gonna do, good. I told her that mine's been charged for 3 weeks, so
yeah.
She really needs to.
Call BlendJet or email them. They're really quick about replying to an email. And speaking of which, Janet, I emailed them about the things you asked me, and they said they should ship to you. So try, and if you still have trouble, we'll figure it out. So maybe send us a text message. And if you need our cell number, let me know and we'll send it to you. You're welcome, Kara. So, Dad, you said unless I've got what? I missed what the other question was, or I maybe got distracted.
Unless you've got, I'm sorry, pain with swallowing.
Okay.
That was me.
Okay.
So it shouldn't hurt unless you have pain with swallowing.
Yep. Okay. So you're gonna heat that up.
So I will heat this up, and when we have an ice cream ready. We do have an ice cream ready, right? Or
yeah, so I did a sorbet. So I'm going to go pull that out of there because I blended it one more time. And then we're going to pull the bowl out and we're gonna put the ice cream to work here. Theoretically, we should be able to eat this right away, but we're gonna try it just because we can.
I don't know how loud this is either. We may have to move it to another room also.
We'll see. So this is cold to the touch, okay? So this, we put the coconut milk in the freezer, and the peaches were frozen solid. So we're going to, Stephanie's grabbing the bowl out. So this is super creamy. If we could have used a different kind of milk, it just wouldn't have been as creamy with the, because the coconut milk is super, super thick. It's very high in fat. This is a great high protein, high fat, high calorie snack if you are needing to gain weight. So 1 scoop of this protein has 25 grams. And then, oops, look at me knocking stuff over as per usual. 1/3 of a cup of this, and I put a full cup in here, is 12 grams of fat. So there's 36 grams of fat in this one bowl. So don't eat the whole thing at once. What is that machine called? The one behind me, Karen? The one behind us is an ice cream maker, and this just the food processor.
It's a Cuisinart Gelateria.
Cuisinart Gelateria.
We checked.
I'll write it in here.
There's a Ninja Creamy that we wanted.
We
I
were
couldn't
looking
find
for
one today. But this one had very high reviews.
Yeah. Yep. So, are you getting the stuff out of the bowl because it's frozen in there?
Well,
It froze.
I may have shot myself in the foot over
It
here.
froze better than we expected.
Well, the liquid inside of it is not frozen. It's just...
Okay. Well, I'll start explaining the other thing that I did. So, I wasn't necessarily expecting to have the ice cream maker. So, one of the things that we used to do when I worked in the restaurant was we would make sorbet without a machine. So, you make a simple syrup. So you take, Karen, you could try making some high protein fruit purees and things. So this is strawberries. I just cut the tops off, and so I put strawberries in. I made simple syrup with 1/4 cup of sugar and 3/4 cup of water. Brought it to a boil until all the sugar dissolved. Let it cool. I put my strawberries in my blender. I put a scoop of unflavored protein in the blender. I put a little bit of lemon juice, and then I put a little bit of vanilla. So I blended it. You can see it's still super fluffy here. So what we used to do in the restaurant was we just puree all that, and then we would scrape it. And this is how you make just a simple sorbet. And you can scrape it, and then if you have an ice cream scoop, you can just scoop up what you scraped. Normally I would scrape this with a fork, but my little spoon works pretty darn good. And I didn't add anything for color. This is all from the strawberries. All right. And I did taste it, and I had my Mama Patty, my husband's mom, is visiting us. So I had her taste it before I froze it too, and she's like, yeah, that tastes like strawberries. So, Patty, I'll bring you some, I promise.
Okay, I'm ready. So normally you wouldn't have to do what I just did.
Yeah.
I just thought I'd try to freeze the bowl faster.
Mm-hmm. So we put ice and water in it,
and that was dumb.
It froze to death. So this is icy. This is not creamy at all. It's, but the flavor's really good.
Kind of like lemon ice. Has that gritty, not gritty,
yeah,
that icy kind of
texture.
So, but it ends creamy.
It's because of the protein.
It ends creamy. It's really good.
But you can't taste the protein.
No.
So that's pretty cool. So the other thing we can do with this is we can put it into a blender again. and blend it up and make it soft if we want to.
This is ice creamy already.
Yeah. So here's the other thing to think about when you're making. Oh,
got it.
You got it? Okay. When you're making ice cream melts to a thin liquid the majority of the time. Now this one with the coconut milk is probably not going to melt thin because it's got so much fat in it.
I would say it's probably to a nectar. If you're nectar, you're fine.
If you're nectar, you're fine. So the other thing you can do is you can make like pudding, and you can freeze that, and then you can blend that and make a thickened ice cream out of pudding. Now, if you have something like this that I just made with the strawberries and the simple syrup, and then a little bit of lemon juice and vanilla and the protein, you'd want to add a thickener. Good stuff. You'd want to add a thickener like your Purithik to this before you freeze it, so that this will thicken and then it won't melt to a thin consistency if you need it thickened. The other thing we could do is, since we didn't, troubleshooting over here, making sure I'd like to see a pudding recipe. Yeah, we can do pudding sometime.
Yeah.
Why not? That's
we had done
easy.
that chia seed pudding.
We did do the chia seed pudding. I could make a cornstarch pudding though from scratch that we have to heat. So I can show you all how to do that if you want. Okay. We'll see what happens here. So I could take this and put it in the food processor and blend this again and add thickener if we need it thickened. It will probably help the texture a little bit too if we blend this again. It won't be quite so icy, but I want to taste our peach one to see how we did. So the machine's a little bit loud, so Steph took it in the other room.
I licked my fingers and it was really yummy.
Yeah. Tastes like peach, and it's really thick and creamy. So now that we have our little, I'm gonna scoop some of this up. We're gonna talk about what to do.
Yeah, how to do it.
Okay. So, okay, set that off to the side. That turned out beautifully. I like that. So I also brought some frozen cantaloupe. So we can try a type of sorbet with the cantaloupe also if you guys are interested. If you're interested, let me know and we'll try it. If you're not, we'll save it for another day, or I'll make something at home. Who knows? So one of the things I wrote down that we had talked about was, you're not aspirating. Kara says yes. All right, we'll go with the cantaloupe thing. You're not aspirating. Just because something feels like it's there does not mean it's going in the wrong place. It just means, like Stephanie said earlier, that your brain's not interpreting it the way it maybe should be. Or it's offline a little bit. It's off kilter.
Right, and it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with your brain either.
It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with your brain.
Right.
That's the important piece.
Not suggesting that at all.
Right.
We all have little glitches in our body.
Yep. We all have little glitches in our body. We're sitting in the airport the other day and my thumb's over here twitching, and Stephanie's like, what is happening? I was like, my thumb won't stop twitching. This is the weirdest thing ever. It's just a glitch. It happens. Okay, Janet says yes as well. So I'll grab the cantaloupe. I'm going to...
Okay. Oh, this is hot.
That's hot. Okay, I'm going to wash this while you get started on this experiment here.
So one of the ways that I recommend, so basically the glitch that's making you feel like there's a lump in your throat or that something's stuck in your throat is likely just a glitch that your brain who knows? It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with your brain. We all have those weird things. Like she said, her thumb was it was shaking. It was really weird. But it fixed itself. It's just a little, bump in the road.
Yep.
So my recommendation, get something very cold, ice cream, popsicle, whatever you like. You can make your own. If I didn't find the ice cream machine today, I was just going to buy a tub of ice cream, and you can mix whatever you want in it. Get your favorite flavor. Get sherbet or sorbet or whatever it is that you like. You can make it and make it a good healthy snack by adding extra protein. I think that's great. But what I'm going to do is we'll start with the cold, and then after a couple of bites of cold, we're going to do a couple of bites of hot. And that is a stark difference. And you know what you're doing, you see what's going in, and you know what it should feel like. And so we're really just retraining the brain in the sensory, the language, and the visual, essentially.
Yeah. So a lot of the senses are happening here.
The more senses you can incorporate into it, the better. So start with cold.
Start with cold. Okay.
Wow, I can't get.
I know it's because
Not the
it's
best
melting on the edge of the bowl.
The bowl is got just the wrong angle.
It's got a wrong lip on it. Okay. Okay.
Or you know what? 7-Eleven slushies. You know how you get a brain freeze from that because it goes down so cold? This is almost melting in my mouth before I get my throat cold.
Yeah.
Okay, that felt cold. And then we're going to do a little. Oh, so different. Whew.
Yeah.
Number one, because we've got a sweet and salty also. So that's another big difference in sensory.
What you're interpreting, what you're feeling.
Lots of interpretation going on.
And I want to encourage, I want you to shy away from saying that's bad, and I want you to say that's different.
Yes.
That's weird. It's not bad. It's different.
Yeah. So all of these things that we're talking about today, Globus sensation is not a bad thing. It's not going to hurt you.
Right.
If you've been told that it's just Globus. Now, if you have a sensory thing and then you can't get anything down behind it, that you need to go to the doctor for.
Right.
But so this is what we're looking to do is very cold, very warm, very cold, very warm, alternating.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So I bought a cantaloupe at the grocery store. I washed it because I have a weird thing with melon. I got to wash it with soap and water. And then I cut it up and I put it on a pan and I froze it. Hi, Susie and Mom. Okay, so I'm going to put this cantaloupe right in there.
Okay.
Frozen. And then,
so when you start with your frozen fruit and really cold, you want the
honey. And then I need a little bit of lemon juice. Maybe?
We're going to have to cut a lemon.
Oh, well we can probably do without it.
I think that my squeezed lemon is...
We can do without it.
My cheat lemon is a little lime.
Yeah, let's do lime. Why not? It's gonna have the same effect. And then I was gonna grab just a touch of water. So I'm gonna pour just a little bit of water. See, the other thing I was thinking when I was at the grocery store today was you don't have to use plain water. If you're really focusing on hydration, you could use coconut water because that'll give the extra electrolytes that will make this just amazing. Oh gosh, this...
You don't want the squeezer, do you?
I do want the squeezer. Even though it's going to make a mess. I know. Steph was so excited about her squeezer. She doesn't like it.
I don't like it.
I love it.
It's so messy.
So, it was just me. I'm sorry.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry about the barking.
Let's talk, boys. Let's talk.
They're feeling left out. Okay, so I'm just going to put this lime juice. You could do this with watermelon. The recipe that I found actually called for honeydew, but I couldn't find a honeydew.
Couldn't find a honeydew.
I went to Aldi, and they didn't have one. And then my husband and I went to just the local grocery store today. They didn't have one either. Yep, see, there it goes, making a mess. Okay, so.
Okay.
Now, I forgot to rinse off the lids. Sorry.
Did you put the honey in yet?
I did not put the honey in.
How much do you want?
It's like a quarter of a cup or a couple tablespoons is probably plenty. Turns out honey's really sweet. And anytime you're doing, well, these fingernails might not work super well for that. Anytime you're doing liquid sugar like honey or maple syrup, you can use less than you would use for solid sugar or sweetener, because this one goes a lot farther. Okay, so now I'm gonna go blend this, and we don't have to put this one into an ice cream machine. We just are gonna blend this, and I'm gonna wait until it's to the consistency that the peach one was, and then we're gonna try it and see how it is. Okay.
All right, so I'm still doing my alternating of cold and hot, cold and hot. Now, truly, you should, to make sure that you have a good sensory awareness of the cold first, do 3 or 4 bites, and then switch over to 3 or 4 bites of the warm. And you will notice a difference pretty substantially. So, what kind of questions do you guys have about Globus? Does anyone out there have a Globus sensation that they're dealing with?
I gotta add more water.
Oh.
Because it got sort of
Stuck?
not stuck, but like grainy. And so it needs to be incorporated a little better.
What do you need?
Just another spatula, because I want to scrape it down. Turns out we got a lot of things going on with our stuff tonight.
More than we
thought. So yeah, I'm curious about.
Here, I'll do that. You're curious about what?
All the people that have had
Yeah.
the feeling before.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm not getting anybody that has experienced it, but maybe you're just shy. We shall see. Any questions about homemade ice cream? Oh, we've got a quiet crowd tonight. I get the sensation, but sometimes. Okay, so it's not all the time. That's good. That's good. Again, it's almost like a glitch, I think, sometimes. Something crunchy. Yes, Karen, I wonder if you don't have some inflammation and you have a sensory imprint. But it could just be that crunchy just messes with your head. Who knows? But you've had the videos, the x-rays that show that there's not anything there, correct? If I'm remembering, which is frustrating and discouraging. So I would try this, Karen. I would do warm, hot, I mean, cold, hot, and see if we can get some changes in your sensory awareness, sensory regulation. I'm glad we moved this to the other room because it's loud.
Okay.
Oh, it's a pretty color.
It is a pretty color. Okay. I'm not sure how this is going to turn out. The bottom
of my esophagus, it hurts, but when it moves up,
it's not painful.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a really interesting interesting consistency. It's probably not completely smooth. And you could add protein to this as well, like collagen or how is it? Is it tart?
It tastes really good, but it's chunky. But it's really cold. I could get a brain freeze off of this one.
Oh yeah, easy. It's really sweet. Could it be sometimes an air bubble gets? Ooh, that's a good question.
Well, I guess it could, but if you're swallowing that much air, I would be concerned about the amount of air. The way the swallowing mechanism works is you shouldn't be swallowing a whole lot of air because it's going to come out that way or the other way, and it's not usually comfortable if it's going through your system.
Right.
So a lot of air, we need to talk if that's truly what's happening. But could it be? Yeah, you bet. But then we could work on getting the squeezing motion of the pharyngeal level of swallow so that it squeezes out all of the air.
I hadn't heard that question before. I like that one.
That is a very, very good comment and question.
Did you answer Karen's about never giving her crunchy food as part of her tests? So,
no.
Can we talk about...
They never gave you crunchy? They didn't give you the cookie part? The last part is the cookie. That's why they call it a cookie swallow.
Well, so I think with this, I would need to puree it for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And just let it go. And I only let it go for like a minute in total. But I think it would get super smooth.
I think it would.
If I just let it
kept going.
So I'm gonna just
go put it in.
Put it in there and shut the door. And let it do its thing.
Shut the door, and whether the dog's are in there or not. You can maybe pull out the other one. I think it's supposed to be done. Has it been in 20 minutes? Tried to force that one.
Okay. We're just gonna let it go. Did you talk about they did not at her hospital? Okay. So
interesting.
Can we talk a little bit about how they set you up to succeed in that test?
Yeah.
Have we talked about that in the past?
Probably.
I think we have.
I don't know if we've talked about it here.
So when you sit down
for your video swallow study,
how do they set you up?
Perfectly.
So
they sit you at a 90 degree. They set you up so that you are in the right position for swallowing. Now, do we all sit like that? How many of us eat on the couch occasionally? How many of us slouch at the table?
Okay, Karen. Yep. Okay. Yes. So this is good. This is good. How many of us cross our legs and lean over?
Yeah.
How many of us? Yeah. How many people eat in bed? I don't eat in bed because I don't like crumbs, but
people do.
People do, and there's no judgment here.
They snuggle up and watch a movie and eat. Yeah.
The guy on the radio show here talks about how he'll bring like a pan of brownies to bed with him. Cracks me up, and all I can think is that's so terrible. A whole pan, really?
Well, whatever makes him happy. So that's cool. So, but they set you up perfectly. They have your head in the right position, and if you move too much when you swallow, they're going to make you bring it back because the camera for the videoing doesn't move with you a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it does move some.
Yeah.
But so they're going to keep you in a position that they need you in. So that may be the perfect position for you to swallow in. So then your swallow is going to look perfect.
Right.
But do you really sit like that? Probably not. Should you sit like that? Absolutely. So if you had a video swallow and they had you in the absolute perfect position and you had no problems, well then they're going to want you to sit like that so that you don't have any problems.
Yeah.
Or you can talk to us and we can try to make it easier for you to swallow in other positions as well.
So also, you only take a couple of bites or a couple of sips during this test. And a lot of people are fine at the beginning of a meal, right? It's at the end of the meal when you're tired and fatigued, and it's like the end of a workout. Like at the end of a workout, I should be tired and my muscles are achy with fatigue. That's probably what's happening with a lot of people, right?
Even more so if you're struggling to swallow. If it's work to eat a meal, then the end of the meal is going to be worse. Truly, so a video swallow or a modified barium swallow, there's probably a total of maybe 3 minutes of video, 3 minutes of,
I'm going to let you answer that question while I go stir our...
That can help improve. Absolutely, there are exercises that can help improve your swallowing. It just depends on which area of swallowing you're having trouble with. At what level the swallowing, which muscles are weaker. So sometimes it's because some muscles are strong and some muscles are weak, and so then the swallow gets discoordinated. Sometimes it's a different level. It's which muscles are weaker, or are they all weak? So it would depend. I wouldn't feel comfortable just giving everybody exercises, because if we could create more of a problem. Is it better?
It's not perfectly smooth, but it's way better. And if we were to have added thickener to this, we still could technically. It would hold at that nice thickness also that would be easy for people that need it thicker to swallow.
That is a very cantaloupe-y.
I got a little bit of honey too that didn't mix in all the way, so that bite I got was like super sweet and delicious. Kara, they tell you nothing's wrong, but as you go through eating, it gets harder.
Yeah.
So, free advice: shorten your meals, more of them throughout the day.
Right. Get more of your nutritional needs at the beginning of your meal.
Yep.
Eat the protein first.
Yep.
Eat the fat first, so that and save the easier things for later.
Yep. Absolutely. So, I like how our experiments have turned out today.
Yeah.
So we had the strawberry protein sorbet, and I think if I had used a little bit of like Greek yogurt in this, that was full fat Greek yogurt, it would have been much, much creamier. The melon needs to just puree for a long time and have thickener added, I think.
Well, I think because melon is tougher to begin with, and so when you take frozen melon at that, you've got to break down a lot. It's very fibrous.
So the other thing is, we could have pureed the melon. Like, we could have done this before.
True.
We could have pureed it and then put it in a dish like this and frozen it. And then we could have pureed it again just to soften it up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of options here.
About hot liquids. When I put thickener in it, I stopped coughing, had a very wet cough, eyes watered, etc. Yes.
Thicken it to begin with, I think.
Yes, I think your best level, Karen, is a 3.
I think we had decided it was a 3.
A 3. So, and it could be that the warm liquid gets away from you quicker.
Could be. That would make sense.
It just depends on your sensory system.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would recommend maybe thickening it a little bit, or just making sure that you're following those strategies that we had talked about, making sure you're sitting, that you're focusing on what you're about to do. Hold it in your mouth for a second before you swallow, so that all of the muscles engage at the same time, at the right time. So like that's part of That's part of
Yeah.
a swallowing. It could be too that because it was hot, that you tried to swallow it fast. So maybe a lukewarm coffee instead
Yeah.
might help.
Yeah. And these thickeners are made for hot and cold liquids, right? So finding the right thickener,
Yes.
super helpful. Shall we try our ice cream? It's been like 20 minutes. Should we give it a
what it said.
Okay. Well, let's give it a shot and see. See how it goes. So Steph and I at our conference last week, or last weekend, it wasn't actually that long ago. One of the things that he challenged all of us to do, Steph and I have a lot of plans for Dysphagia We want to do a lot of things. We want to prepare a lot of.
It's not as.
It's
not
super
as,
runny.
It's worse than when we.
All right, well let's
But
taste
we can
it.
taste it.
Let's taste it. How do we want to do it? It's very liquidy. Yeah, so it
We
needs
should have
to
just
go.
eaten it straight out of the.
I know.
It was thicker then. It's because I didn't freeze this enough.
I mean, it tastes good.
It tastes delicious,
It tastes
actually.
really good. I think we should. Let's freeze it and let it go for a while and see. Because then I think the instructions say to put it in the freezer again after.
Yeah, so we'll just
So-
put it in a.
We'll put it in and see how it goes. So they had. I wish they'd invented taste video. I know. So okay. So where I was going with that, our business coach encouraged us to get to the point where we can host a live event, which is what they did. So one of our plans, maybe in like a year, is gonna be to go somewhere and host an event where we can do some fun things, like teaching you how to make some easy ice cream stuff or soup or pudding or I don't know, whatever else that you want us to try. So and we want to be able to provide you with more resources and more time, and so that's one of the things we're hoping to get to do probably in about a year once we have more of our things that we want to do figured out, so that we can meet you all in person, because I think that would just be amazing. I love talking, as you already know, but in person is just so much more fun. So everybody think about that. Tell us whether you think that's a good idea or not. Yeah, it tastes real good.
Yeah, it's delicious.
And fruit. Who doesn't love some fruit?
Right, I really like that one though.
The strawberry
I
one?
think that one's my favorite.
Want some more?
Yeah.
It's really, really good. Here.
That's good.
Okay. There was another little dish here so I could throw some in there.
There you go.
Yeah. So I think that's what we have for you today. So what I really wanted you to get out of this was that you can make a sorbet like this without a machine. You do not need an ice cream maker. You can put it in your food processor. Oh, we would love to come visit Nova Scotia. You are on.
Yes, please.
We love to travel. You can do this without an ice cream machine. You do not need an ice cream machine. You need a food processor or a really good blender. And then you just need to get your ingredients. So coconut milk, Greek yogurt, full fat Greek yogurt is my favorite because it has much better texture and it's gonna freeze smoother. So you can puree it and freeze it, or you can freeze it and puree it. You're gonna have to do a little bit of experimenting.
That's what froyo is all about.
Yes.
Got live and active cultures, good for you.
Yeah, so good for you.
Probiotics.
Yep. So take some yogurt. You can do peanut butter chocolate. You can do and if you did peanut butter chocolate and then you had hot chocolate or hot coffee on the side, you could do the colds and hot. Same thing.
You could do coffee and ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
Or coffee ice cream and coffee, if you're really craving coffee stuff. But if you can't sleep at night, don't call us.
Yeah, so
Good stuff.
try it out. Get your senses working. Yes, so Janet, we had planned to use Greek yogurt and then we didn't have any. So, but we had a can of coconut milk. So
I had Greek yogurt before I left last week.
and yeah, somebody ate it. So somebody got their live and active cultures.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yes.
Good. Highly recommend. Highly recommend good yogurt with probiotics in it.
Yes.
It will work wonders for your gut-brain connection.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we love you all. Thank you for joining us today. If you have questions about our stuff we did, questions about Globus sensation, let us know. We want to hear what's going on with you. We want to know if there's anything we can do to help you. Because I think some of you, Karen,
Yes,
we know, we already know, yes. But like Janet, Kara, maybe let's schedule a video meeting, and anyone else that's on. I see there are a couple other people on. So hey, we're appreciative of you all for supporting us, and we just want to continue to support you. So let us know what you need. What are you missing? What are you not getting?
Yep. We love this stuff, if you can't tell. We love doing it.
I love Wednesday. Yeah, and I think we need to do a restaurant session here on a Wednesday in a couple weeks, maybe. So maybe if you guys have a restaurant you want us to try, let us know.
Yeah, and we can go try and blend things out.
And we'll go live from the restaurant, and I will get permission from the front of house management before we do it. Maybe.
That could be fun.
Assuming I'll sweet talk them. It's okay.
She will.
I'm a persuader. All right, everybody. Have a great rest of your week. We love you. Enjoy your food and eat it safely.